CTV News at 6 with Joe Perkins.
Good evening. Joe Perkins is off tonight. I'm Andrew Johnson. We begin in the Comox Valley, where a couple that is usually racing to the scene of an emergency to save lives needed help themselves. The paramedics and volunteer firefighters woke up to a fire tearing through their duplex in the middle of the night. They scrambled outside and watched as fire crews battled the flames for several hours. Now, as CTV's Gord Kurbis shows us, investigators think the blaze looks suspicious.
When they arrive on scene, volunteer firefighters find this Courtney duplex fully involved. They immediately scramble into action to save what they can.
When we first arrived on the side furthest away from us right now was fully involved, second floor and first floor, and spread it into the attic on both sides of the building. Well, the fire was started inside the building, moved up through the interior on the one side of the building up into the attic and then spread to the other side.
But the firefighters quickly realize the duplex they're trying to save belongs to two of their own. The husband, seen here in the blue t-shirt, and his wife are volunteers with the Courtney Fire Department. They're also BC Ambulance paramedics.
The occupants on this side of the building are both of our firefighters. They're also BC Ambulance paramedics, yes, and tough fight to save the place for everybody.
The couple just purchased and moved into the duplex a month ago. This morning they watched helplessly as it and the unit next door were severely damaged by fire. Even though the blaze broke out at 3 a.m., it drew the attention of the entire neighborhood.
It sounded like some windows breaking or something. And my wife went and checked and then ran to the bedroom and told me the neighbor's house was on fire.
Breaking glass and the yelling is what alerted most to the fact something was wrong. And according to witnesses, the neighbor on the other side of the duplex was immediately indicating this may not have been accidental.
I heard a guy say my dog's dead or they killed my dog.
When I came out, the tenants were talking about that. They were saying that somebody had killed their dog and that or dogs. And they sprayed pepper spray all over the house.
Police were on the scene taking statements and talking with witnesses and wouldn't comment on the fire, but it is being treated as suspicious. Neighbors say police had been here before.
It's not the first time police have been here, but the rest of the neighborhood's pretty quiet for sure.
This morning, crews were called back to the scene again as RCMP providing security at the home noticed smoke beginning to appear in the remains.
With firefighters called back to the scene this morning to put out smoldering hotspots, it shows just how difficult and how stubborn this fire has been. The hope, though, is that the investigation into who or what caused this blaze won't be as difficult. That's not expected to start until sometime on Tuesday. Gord Kurbis, CTV News, Courtney.
A 28-year-old Sanish man has been arrested after police say he got into a fight at a wedding reception, fled the scene, and later allegedly spat in an officer's face after his parents called police. Sanish police say it all started at Sydney's Mary Winspear Centre, where the man allegedly got into a fight at the reception just before 1 a.m. Someone called the RCMP, but police say shortly after they arrived, the man jumped into a car being driven by his mother, and the pair took off, leaving behind the man's ID and his phone. About an hour later, Sanish police say they received a call from the man's father, reporting his son was drunk and out of control. Police went to the family's home in the High Quadra area. They say the man resisted arrest, tried to bite one of the officers twice, then spat directly into the face of another. Police are recommending a charge of assaulting a police officer.
An assault under the criminal code does not have to be a punch or a kick or something like that. A spit, someone spitting, particularly in one's face, whether you're a police officer or not, is definitely considered to be an assault by the courts, and something that nobody, no matter what their line of work, should have to put up with.
The man was held by police overnight. Sanish police also claim he breached an active bail condition that he is not to consume alcohol, as he was allegedly very intoxicated during his arrest. Police have tracked down 3 people suspected of taking part in the Stanley Cup riot in Vancouver. 2 of the suspects are Americans. The third is a Canadian believed to be studying in the U.S. All 3 are named in Canada-wide arrest warrants, meaning they'll be taken into custody as they set foot on Canadian soil. At this point, extradition proceedings have not yet begun. Students from all over the world who will now call Greater Victoria home are unpacking their bags at the University of Victoria tonight. But there is a big question mark hanging over the start of the fall semester. On Wednesday, more than 1,300 support staff may be going on strike. It's not clear, though, at this point what services will be pulled on Wednesday when students are getting familiar with the campus and their classes. QP Locals 951 and 917 are in a position to take job action Wednesday, but some jobs have been deemed essential services. Many of the first-year students who have packed up their lives to move into residence and away from home for the first time today are aware of the labor strife, but that is not dampening their excitement.
I'm actually excited to start classes. I'm really interested in studying science, so I'm really excited to do that. Yeah, and I'm here the parties are pretty good, so I'm excited for those too.
It's tough leaving, saying goodbye to your parents?
Yeah, it's hard, but you know, birds gotta fly away.
More than 1,900 students are moving into residence this weekend at UVic. 100 volunteers and staff are helping them out. With summer drawing to a close and students heading back to school, for many families, this Labor Day long weekend is the time for one traditional last hurrah, the Saanich Fair. They've been going in circles all weekend at the 145th edition of the Agricultural Fair and Midway. There are 35 added attractions this year, including more animals like the horses, goats and ducks that are a big hit with the kids. There are in fact 600 chickens clucking for the crowd. You won't see any pigs though. A new strain of swine flu in the U.S. has organizers here being careful just in case. People we spoke to at Western Canada's oldest continuous agricultural fair were having a great time.
This is 145 years. Do you think it's only getting better?
Oh, certainly. I've only been here for 100 of them, so.
It's fabulous. We're here every year and we wouldn't miss it for anything. It's a great way to end the summer and get ready for the school year. So our kids love it.
Favorite part of the fair?
The rides. The rides.
What do you think of all these animals?
They're cute. They're very cute.
That's our Steve Coulterman asking the tough questions. Take it easy on them out there, Steve. Speaking of tough, CTV Vancouver Island's Aaron Glazier, a member of the Tour de Rock team this year, spent the weekend spinning at the fair to drum up donations for the grueling ride to help kids with cancer.
Now is kind of the time where it's starting to hit home, and you see kids, there's a couple of kids that have come by with cancer and they drop money in, and it's just, we're raising money for such a great cause, and September 23rd is coming up, so we're getting there, it's getting close.
There is one more day to check out the Saanich Fair. The gates are open on Labor Day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Young Vancouver Island athletes are playing the sport they love this weekend to help inspire their counterparts on the other side of the world who are struggling with extreme poverty. 20 teams are taking part in the first ever Island Premier Cup tournament. The tournament is raising money to help young people in Zimbabwe who have some soccer talent but don't have the means to get far in the game or attend university. Newly formed Victoria nonprofit Simunye will provide them with scholarships.
I was born and raised there. I walked pretty much the same footsteps that I'm asking these children to walk through. I was born in the same environment of difficulty and challenges, not just financially, but also socially and economic. So that's why we're doing this project.
It's good because you want everyone to have the best opportunities that they can and give them that so they can do whatever they want, and you don't want them to miss out just because of where they're from or they don't have the money.
Coach Mukahanana is heading to Zimbabwe later this week. Players are also donating their jerseys and cleats.